A fourth-generation alligator hunter, she proved she could stand shoulder to shoulder with Troy Landry, the undisputed king of the swamp, pulling 12-foot gators out of Louisiana's most treacherous waters without backing down. We're catching a massive amount of big alligators in this area. And it's always a good day on the water when you're catching big alligators. But right now, in season 17, Pickle is facing something far more frightening than anything hiding under the bayou surface. Something that's been quietly building for years, and something she physically can no longer push aside. It's not a gator. It's not a storm. It's the brutal collision between the life she was born into and the life she's now fully responsible for. 2 babies under the age of 2. A body still healing from her second pregnancy. My name is Myri and I am coming into the new season. I'm ready to go, but I'm sad to leave my baby at home. She's going to be with my mom and, it's going to be a tough one. Add to that a mentor who's quietly battling his own mortality, and a swamp that never adjusts its demands just because you're exhausted. When the sun rises, the cracks are starting to appear. And what happens next could fundamentally change Pickle Wheat's future on the show, and maybe beyond it. Bred into the bayou to truly understand what Pickle is up against, you have to go back to where she came from. Because this woman didn't wander into gator hunting by chance, she was born into it. When I reached a certain age, I started putting makeup on, going hunting in the woods, and my dad was like, "What's taking you so long?" And so it was this whole transition we went through. But definitely when I was younger, I was, more into the hunt. Cheyenne Nicole Wheat was born on September 21, 1995, in Poydras, Louisiana, deep in St. Bernard Parish, one of the rawest, most unforgiving stretches of swampland in the entire American South. Her great-grandfather was one of the original commercial alligator hunters in the parish. Not a weekend sportsman, not a hobby trapper, one of the founding generation of men who turned gator hunting into a legitimate way of life across southern Louisiana, a tradition that stretches back roughly 300 years, that knowledge passed down unbroken, from her great-grandfather to her grandfather, who developed what Pickle later called a distinctive, effective shooting style that kept his family safe and fed for decades, quietly, away from the outside world's attention. From her grandfather to her father, Eddie Wheat, who now runs the family business, Wheat's Custom Calls, a shop where they handcraft duck and turkey calls that are prized across the region, and from Eddie straight to Pickle herself, who started hunting the moment she could walk. Here's the key: Pickle didn't grow up watching this life from the sidelines. She was in the boat. Her father, her brother James, and Pickle were what she called the three amigos. Alligator hunting wasn't a career choice for her. It was the air she breathed. Did you see the size of this thing? No, I didn't see the tire. It don't matter, bring it up. We're going to shoot it. Don't hit it by the perfection. It's a big one. It's a big first one. As she told Louisiana Sportsman back in 2021, I was bred into this lifestyle. My dad's grandpa was well known for hunting and trapping alligators. And by the way, Pickle isn't exactly the name most people picture for one of the toughest gator hunters on television. Her real name is Cheyenne. The nickname came straight from her dad. She explained, "My middle name is Nicole. And when you say Cheyenne Nicole enough, it starts to sound like shiny pickle." I got obsessed with pickles from a young age. The name stuck. Later came another nickname, Pee-wee, a playful reference to her small stature, standing 5'7" and weighing around 125 pounds. Pickle doesn't look like someone who regularly wrestles prehistoric reptiles for a living. But out on the bayou, size has never been what matters most. Toughness is. And Pickle had that long before any camera ever found her. So when the History Channel came calling for Season 12 of Swamp People, which premiered February 4, 2021, Pickle wasn't some rookie learning the ropes. She was a fourth-generation swamper stepping onto a national stage, and the man waiting for her on that boat was none other than Troy Landry, the self-proclaimed king of the swamp, who had been the face of the show since season 1. And here's the thing, she wasn't just along for the ride. By the end of her rookie season beside Troy, the two had posted record-setting numbers. Pickle proved she could shoot straight, haul heavy, hook fast, and keep pace with a man who'd been doing this longer than she'd been alive. In one unforgettable early episode, she and Troy tracked down a gator locals called the Freight Train, a monster reptile that had been terrorizing the river basin, attacking people and livestock alike. Pickle held steady. Her shots were clean and true. Viewers took notice immediately. The partnership with Troy only deepened season after season. By season 14, producers described their dynamic as built on shared values and genuine mutual respect, something rare in a world where captain-deckhand relationships often run on tension and hierarchy. Troy, a man who doesn't hand out compliments lightly, began relying on Pickle not just as a deckhand, but as a true partner on the water. She also joined the spin-off series Swamp People, Serpent Invasion, where she and Troy traveled to the Florida Everglades to hunt invasive Burmese pythons, an entirely different predator in completely unfamiliar territory. You ready? Watch your not today. Good job. Good job. Not today. During one expedition, the pair even discovered human remains while searching for evidence of a lost Native American civilization. Pickle described the moment as eerie, a thick, heavy feeling in the air. As she held a human jawbone in her hands, she was becoming more than a deckhand. She was becoming one of the central faces of the entire franchise, and that's exactly when everything started to get more complicated. The weight of 900 tags. To really grasp the physical reality of what Pickle does every season, you have to understand how alligator hunting actually operates in Louisiana. Because this isn't a casual weekend hobby. It's a brutal, high-stakes sprint where your entire year's income depends on a few short weeks. Alligator season in Louisiana usually opens in late August or early September and runs roughly 30 to 60 days, depending on the zone. During that narrow window, hunters are issued tags, permits that must be attached to every gator killed. Once your tags are gone, your season ends. No exceptions. For many of these families, those few weeks represent the bulk of their annual income. Gator hides can sell anywhere from $7 to $25 per foot depending on quality and buyer. Tail meat fetches around $6 per pound or more. A single large gator can bring several $100s, but you need volume, and you need speed. Weather, water levels, and regulations are all working against you every single day. By season 16, Troy Landry had leveled up to 800 tags. That's 800 alligators that needed to be located, hooked, shot, hauled into the boat, and tagged in a matter of weeks. That he added 2 new boats to his fleet and expanded operations. Pickle was right there beside him on the main boat, running hundreds of lines in punishing heat, dodging storms, and pulling gators that could snap a human arm like a twig. It's not that simple, though. The money from the show adds another layer. Reports suggest Swamp People cast members earn anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 per episode, with Troy, as the show's biggest star, reportedly pulling in around $30,000 per month during filming. For newer cast members like Pickle, the numbers are likely lower. But combined with gator sales and her family's call-making business, it's real money, the kind that changes lives in communities where the average alligator hunter earns roughly $15 an hour. Here's where it gets complicated. That money comes with strings attached. The filming schedule is relentless. The physical demands are staggering. Oh yeah, they got a line right there. See the line right above the water? Yeah, I'll see it. Yeah, let's put it down right here. You got to unhook it out of the branches first. Give me a gun. Where'd you go? Shorting the first guide you get. Lord of mercy. What's wrong, Andrea? Well, my fault. That's the moon, man. That's the moon. And starting in 2023, Pickle was doing all of it as a brand new mother, superwoman on the water. In April 2023, Pickle Wheat and her partner Joshua Kippis, an emergency medical technician based in New Orleans, welcomed their first child, a daughter named Emmy. The news was celebrated across Pickle's huge social media following, over 378,000 followers on Facebook alone. Fans were thrilled, but what came next was the part cameras rarely show. Pickle returned for season 15 just months after giving birth. She was back on Troy Landry's boat at dawn, running lines, shooting gators, hauling dead weight in Louisiana's brutal heat and humidity, while still breastfeeding her newborn. The show's executive producer put it plainly in a January 2026 interview, "We might have to rename her Superwoman. She is really an amazing woman. It's hard to tell from television, but she is not a big person. She is a very petite lady and extremely tough." He went on to describe what most viewers never see: Pickle pumping breast milk on the boat between catches, then going home after a full day with Troy to immediately step back into full-time motherhood. "Grandma's great," the EP said, "but there is no substitute for Mama. And get this, she wasn't just surviving out there. She was thriving." On the final day of that season, Pickle helped Troy tag out by landing a massive 12-footer that capped their most successful season ever. Her shot didn't just fill the last tag, it cemented her place in the show's history as a proven force on the water. Then in September 2024, Pickle and Joshua got married. The wedding aired on season 16 of Swamp People, with Troy Landry himself balancing his gator tags and officiating the ceremony. It was a moment that captured everything about Pickle's life: the collision of the personal and the professional, the swamp and the celebration, the woman and the hunter. Fans flooded her social media with congratulations. One commenter wrote, "Love the wedding show. Beautiful. This photo is everything, of you being you and being happy living your life." But here's what fans didn't see: behind the fairy tale wedding episode was a far more complicated reality. Pickle had previously been in a relationship with Chase Landry, Troy's youngest son. The two started dating in October 2020 and made it public on Facebook. They'd bonded over hunting, over their deep roots in southern Louisiana, over a shared life that most people couldn't begin to understand. But at some point, quietly, the relationship ended. The reasons were never made public. Pickle moved forward with Joshua, an EMT who came from a completely different world. And she kept showing up on Troy's boat season after season, navigating whatever personal dynamics existed beneath the surface with the professionalism of someone who understood that the work came first. Just weeks after the wedding, Pickle announced she was pregnant again. She posted a playful Instagram video joking about the lack of pregnancy-appropriate hunting clothes as her 14-week bump started showing through her camo gear. "Where's the mama bear hunting gear?" She kept hunting well into her pregnancy, posting videos of herself out in the field, snacking in a tree stand, clearly refusing to let pregnancy slow her down. Her second child, a son named Casey, arrived in April 2025. And once again, Pickle was back on the water for season 17, with a brand new baby at home and a toddler barely 2 years old. The terrifying reality she can't outrun. Season 17 started airing in January 2026, and the cracks are becoming impossible to ignore. Not in Pickle's skill, she's still one of the most capable hunters on the show. The cracks are in the sheer impossibility of what she's trying to sustain. During one recent episode, Pickle had to call Troy at 5 in the morning to tell him she couldn't make it to the boat. Her 5-month-old son had woken up sick. Troy was forced to run over 100 lines alone, a punishing, dangerous task for any single hunter, let alone a man in his mid-60s who had his prostate removed after a cancer diagnosis just a few years earlier. Troy's own health battle is part of this equation. In June 2022, he revealed that his prostate was in his own words, ate up with cancer. He had it surgically removed and fought his way back in time for the next Gator season. His Facebook post from the hospital captured everything about the man. Even while recovering from cancer surgery, he was already thinking about getting back on the water. Got to recover before Gator season gets here, he wrote. Y'all take care and hug them babies for me. It's a big one. But the reality is that Troy Landry is 65 years old. The swamp has been taking people around him for years. Junior Edwards, an original cast member who appeared in the very first season and essentially invented the treble hooking technique that's now standard practice, died from stage 4 colon cancer in July 2025 at just 61. His grandson, little Willie Edwards, is still on the show, now hunting on Jacob Landry's boat, carrying the weight of his grandfather's legacy while processing that grief. Cast member Mitchell Gist died back in 2012 after suffering a seizure and falling from his boat on the Bell River near Pierrepont, and in 2025, Troy lost another close friend, Mr. Sterling Fryo, a longtime commercial fisherman and mentor figure who had appeared on the show over the years. Jacob Landry's tribute called him a one-of-a-kind man and a bigger-than-life character. The swamp doesn't care about your legacy. It takes who it takes, and Pickle sees this up close. The show's executive producer described how she provides viewers with a window into a side of Troy that the cameras don't usually capture, a more vulnerable, human side beneath the tough, king of the swamp, exterior. Behind the scenes, she confided that her knees were buckling from the strain. But to Troy, she remains solid as a rock. Here's what makes this reality so terrifying: it's not one single crisis. It's the accumulation of everything at once, the physical toll of wrestling 12-foot predators while your body is still recovering from pregnancy. The mental weight of leaving your babies every morning before dawn, not knowing if today is the day something goes wrong on the water. The financial pressure of a seasonal income that's entirely dependent on weather, water levels, and tag quotas. The knowledge that Troy, her captain, her mentor, the man who gave her this opportunity, is aging, and the swamp's future is uncertain. This season has brought some of the most unpredictable conditions in years. Fluctuating water levels have made hunting exponentially harder. The show's EP described the challenge in stark terms. When water rises 2 feet overnight, bait that was hung at the perfect height suddenly sits submerged and invisible. Gators don't even find it. Lines need to be completely reset. Entire days of preparation get wiped out in a single tide change. Hours are lost. Tags go unfilled. Income evaporates. And for a family with 2 small children depending on that income, every empty hook feels like a punch to the gut. And through all of this, Pickle is trying to honor a legacy that stretches back 4 generations. Her great-grandfather didn't have cameras or contracts. He had a boat, a gun, and the swamp. The tradition he started was never meant to be a television show. It was meant to be a way of life, and right now, Pickle is the one carrying that torch, with a baby on her hip, a 12-gauge in her hands, and the terrifying, beautiful, unrelenting reality of the Louisiana bayou pressing in from every side. She can't ignore it anymore, but she's not running from it either. What do you think? Can Pickle keep up this pace, or will something have to give? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more stories about the real people behind your favorite shows, because the truth is always more compelling than fiction. Music fades.